favor? Recording. Okay, we'll begin with the pledge of allegiance. Can we have the roll call, please?
Council President Suzanne Souter,
Here.
Councilperson Joseph Day,
Here.
Councilperson Andrew Zelt,
Here.
Councilperson Brian Medaway,
Here.
also present Mayor Valerie Leary, City Treasurer Jim Wisman, Building Official Jeff Bergstrom, City Solicitor Max Walton, Chief Rick Cade, City Planner Chris Rogers.
Okay, as usual, the first item on the agenda is minutes. We have several sets of minutes. The first from the meeting from Tuesday, April 9th. It was a public hearing, I think that was July 9th, because we had that public hearing right before the meeting last month, right? Yeah, so we need a correction. That's Tuesday, July 9th, April. Are there any corrections to the minutes of the public meeting? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting minutes are approved. The next set is the minutes of the regular meeting on that same date, Tuesday, July 9th. Does anyone have any corrections or additions to those minutes?
Council President, I do have one.
Okay.
Correction and amendment. Section page 3 of the Tuesday, July 9th. Second point, in respect to Delaware Today and Battery Park. I neglected to acknowledge the contributions of John Antonio and Antonio Lawn Care Company. And they need to be recognized for their contributions that beautify Battery Park.
Well, but you didn't say that at the meeting, right?
Not.
So I don't know that we can add something that wasn't part of the meeting to the minutes.
Okay,
So you can,
I'll add it into the.
okay, thank you. I have one minor spelling correction on page 5, under business from the mayor, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th bullet dot, Emmanuel Church. I know there's 2 spellings of Emmanuel, but the church spells it with an I, not with an E. So it's I-M-N. Anyone else have any corrections or additions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes to the July 9th meeting as,
Motion approved.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so they are approved. And finally, there was a special meeting on Wednesday, July 31st. An executive session. Are there any additions or corrections to that meeting? Those minutes. Okay, motion to approve. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Mr. Wisdom, treasurer's report.
Yes, ma'am. As of July 31st, which is the first month of our fiscal year, we have $10,728,800 in the bank accounts. And that is unrestricted funds of $8,572,230, and restricted funds $2,156,000. Now, and what's interesting is that we're into the first month of the fiscal year, and most of our revenues come in the first quarter, but not the first month. Our monthly cash receipts for July is $468,597. Our budget will be $7 million for the year, so we're going to be getting a lot of money in the first quarter of this year. The our expenditures are $801,000, and again, the total for the year will be $7 million. So right now, the month is not representative of the year itself.
Any questions for Mr. Westman? All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as submitted and subject to audit? second? All in favor? Treasurer's report is approved. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay, and reports from staff. Is it Ms. Tantillo?
Yes, so I have an update on the floating pier. The contractor went out and was on site on August 2nd and 5th. They, put a test pile into the water and collected some data, which they're assessing to determine the size of the piles that they will need to build the pier. They are evaluating that information as we speak and will be continuing the process and the plans to build, in the next month. I'll have an update for you hopefully at the next meeting, and hopefully we'll be in construction by that point. The code officer position has been reposted. If you know anyone who's interested, we encourage them to apply. The zoning project for the website that the AP students have been working on has begun. The website is under construction. You can take a look at the beginnings of it under the zoning section of the website. The projects that we have received notice of receipt for bond bill funds are being prepared to go to bid, and we'll have an update at the next meeting. And those were the construction projects for the streets and the curbs throughout the city. Just a reminder, tax bills were mailed in July. A 2% discount was applied to bills paid by August 30th, and bills are due by September 30th. We are continuing to work on additional grant applications, including the ORPT grant and a bike council grant. At the July 22nd Planning Commission meeting, the commission asked our city planner, Mr. Rogers, to look into ADUs or accessory dwelling units. We're gonna go ahead and continue researching that, and we'll have more information to the planning commission, which that data may come to you as well. And the Delmarva gas line project continues on 34th Streets. And will hopefully be wrapped up sometime in the fall, and letters will be going out to all residents regarding the screens for the meters within the next month or so.
Thank you. Chief McCabe.
I do have a handful of things to talk about tonight, so I wanted to start with our monthly report. It's posted on the website. I don't know if the date is in the council. I wanted to cover a few things on that report before I get started on some highlights. With the calls for service and time response, there's a few in there that may look disturbing. I just wanted to give an explanation on some of the outliers. We did have 2 carjackings, but neither of them were in the city. We assisted other agencies. So that time, the time that it took us to get there was more than likely us just not calling out on scene when we got there. And then the other one was the robbery with weapons that took 25 minutes. Again, that was an incident on the Marquette Trail that we went to respond and to check the area. We just didn't notify the dispatcher, so they never hit the stop button on the clock. So we were there very quickly. We did make some significant arrests this past month. I think you may recall, we had a bit of a trend over the last few months with thefts of and from motor vehicles. All in all, I think we had 4 cars stolen and then probably taken from a handful of others. It's been a while since we've experienced the crime trend, so it's helpful to kind of discuss how we identify it and then really how we end up putting an end to it. And typically it starts with obviously somebody reporting the incident, right? So in cases where things are stolen from cars, I would say half the victims actually report that. So in the absence of having that data, we don't necessarily know whether or not we have a crime trend. That's when motor vehicles typically are associated with trends. Nobody breaks into just one car and then moves along. So it's typically walking up and down the street, pulling on car door handles, and then they open, they go in and they look for what they're looking for. So the trick to the trend is to identify it, and then to start communicating. And one of the good things that with this was that our folks were communicating early at the patrol level. So the patrol supervisor notified them that he recognized the trend and started the direct patrol. To the point where it got to our patrol officers thought they may have identified somebody, and this was because of a video that one of our residents shared it with us. And then that helped kind of, step up the patrol level. So the night after the squad met and talked about how they wanted to, direct their patrol, they stopped the vehicle for operating with no headlights. And that ended up being a freshly stolen car with suspects that had done all the other thefts. So our detective came in, our help patrol officer, and after a really couple of hours, they were able to link all of these suspects with every one of the crimes in the trend. So it was a really good job by both Banner and CIU. Most importantly, it was with the help of our residents, again, the video that was supplied, the reports that were made, the detail of the reports, timeframes are big. So, and all of that helped us kind of identify a way to patrol. You could argue that it was luck, but when you're out looking and you recognize that there's a problem and you take enforcement action, even on something as simple as an equipment violation, good things can happen. So I wanted to bring that up. We also, I think I reported a burglary at one of our businesses in River Plaza last month. Our detectives worked on that, developed some suspects from downstate, executed a few search warrants that involved a handful of agencies, Laurel PD, I believe, Delaware State Police, and I believe another agency in Kent County. They recovered some evidence that linked the suspects to our burglary and then several other burglaries that had the same MO, and we were able to make some arrests and clear that one well. This past month, several of our officers worked with DENREC and then the University of Delaware. So I'm going to mess this up, but it's the Delaware. It's an organization that is built, and the idea was for some of those that are on the spectrum that want to drive or are thinking about getting their license, it gives them an opportunity to interact with us, get a feel for what it's like if for some reason we were to turn our lights on behind them, how they should act, what they should expect from us, what we should look for as identifiers, so we know how to address the operator. So it was very, very hot, but it was very, very successful. This was done at Lumps Pond, and everybody involved did a really good job. So we got a lot of positive feedback, and I think this may turn into something that we do more than once a year. Hopefully, in the fall, we can turn it into like a family event. And I think so. It was very successful. We are again partnering with CCD, as you well know. They have some funding for Project Alert. I've talked to their executive director, and he and I are going to work together to get trained on how to train folks. So this Project Alert, remember your days from DARE. It's similar to that. It's gotten a little bit of a facelift. So, and this is, from what I understand, this is a new project that David found. So just to give you a heads up, it's an 11-week program. He and I are going to go in and train or teach with these kids. And just to give you kind of an overview of the program looks like, we're going to work with the library. I think we're working in the library. And our sessions will look something like this. When we introduce to the project, we talk about consequences of nicotine and marijuana. Then we move through drinking alcohol, pressures, social pressures, existing internal and external pressures. So it sounds like there's a little bit of that to it. And then we go to the last session, which are benefits of not using drugs. So the idea is to, again, intervene while our kids are younger, to give them a little background. Our goal too after this is we're hopefully going to align with Leeds, which is a bigger company. It's law enforcement against drugs. I talked to one of the vice presidents the other day. We hope to create an alliance with some funding that would be a much more robust program where we'd be able to train not just members of CCD or our officers, but members of the community that want to engage in this. Our goal is to have somebody in every colonial school that our kids attend, so that we can have this kind of a break. So, and that starts, I believe, Project Alert starts still in September. We have, I hope to have an email sent out within the next day or two. We have successfully put together our police advisory